The Sharks get their one last home game before the Olympic break, and they need a win against the Rangers.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young. I've been covering the Sharks since 2018, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen, proudly part of the Locked On podcast, the number one sports podcast network. We cover your team every day, and we're going to get you ready for tonight's Sharks-Rangers game. The only home game it feels like the Sharks have had or will have in months at this point, as the Sharks look for a win here. So we'll look at how these two teams match up, get to know the Rangers a little bit more, why we need to be very careful of their special teams, look at the lines, and then what to watch for in tonight's game. So let's get started by how these two teams match up. New York Rangers, 21-24-6. Your San Jose Sharks, 25-21-3. The Rangers' offense this year has really tanked. 2.67 goals for per game, 27th in the NHL. 3.12 goals allowed, 21st. The Sharks' offense, 3.08 goals allowed, 17th. And of course, 3.51 goals allowed, 30th. Power plays, this is where the Rangers are dangerous. 23.2%, 10th best power play in the NHL. And at 80% PK, which is good for 14th. Sharks power play at 19.9%, 18th. The PK at 77.5%, good for 26th in the NHL. Zibanejad leads the Rangers in goals with 21, and then Panarin leads with 37 assists and 56 points. Celebrini, of course, leads the Sharks in all categories with 24 goals, 48 assists, and 72 points. Looking at this Rangers team, this is a team that has really struggled to create offense this year. They don't do a good job of creating expected goals for, and they don't do a good job of capitalizing on said expected goals. The defense has been okay, but you can only ask, You can only ask them to kind of hold the fort for so long before you start to kind of see them collapse. But the special teams have been really big for the Rangers, so that's going to be a key for the Sharks tonight. With the Rangers, how they line up, Panarin, Trocheck, Lafreniere, Miller, Zibanejad, Perreault, Cooley, Labat, Othman, Bild, Carrick, and Radish for your forward lines. Gavrikov, Schneider, Susi, Borjan, Robertson, Morrow, and then Spencer Martin in net for the Rangers. For your Sharks, a little bit of changes in the lineups. Graf, Celebrini, Smith, Regenda, Wenberg, Toffoli, Eklund, Misa, Gaudette, Gaudreau, Ostapchuk, Reeves, with Orlov, Klingberg, Ferraro, Liljegren, Dickinson, Desharnais, and Nedeljkovic gets the net for San Jose. So let's start with the Eklund on the third line here. I know, right, demotion from the second line. He's been playing with Wenberg for the majority of the season. I think a little bit of that, right, where they maybe want to see a little bit more of an Eklund and maybe want to see him get going. But I think also, too, you want to give Misa a playmaker, especially now that Chernyshov is in the AHL. So I believe that's going, a little bit of it as well is they want to see a little bit more from Eklund. I think they also want to give Misa somebody who that they can kind of trust, right? And Eklund's ability to protect the puck, cycle the puck on the forecheck. We've seen Misa being able to, really kind of help create, especially with someone who's very strong on the boards and can get those passes to the slot. I think Misa is a player who just naturally goes to the slot and goes to the net could be a big benefactor there for San Jose tonight, and especially on this third line with Chernyshov, of course, in the AHL. I think it's a little bit of that of both, right? Trying to get Eklund going and also trying to put Misa in a position to succeed here. So that's my guess with that. But as for this Rangers team, right, this team is a team that is about ready to start selling off some pieces. They've had a brutal kind of stretch here where they've gone 2-7-1. The last one was against the Flyers. It has been a lot of losses as of late to some teams that are kind of in the same neighborhood as the Sharks, right? The Kings, the Flyers, you look at like Ottawa, the Kraken, Boston, like all these teams are kind of in the same ballpark as San Jose, and the Rangers have just really seen their season fall off a cliff here, especially when you don't have Shesterkin and when you don't have Adam Fox, two of their best players, and a guy like Shesterkin who does cover a lot of covers up for a lot of errors. Of course, these two teams met beginning of the season in October, where the Sharks got their first win of the year. It was against the Rangers in New York, and of course that was the huge Celebrini to Smith overtime game winner. And we really the season really kind of took off from there. So I think for this game, right, you have to win the 5-on-5 here. You don't want this game to get into a special teams contest, because I think that's where the Rangers do have the edge in this game. And even, with their numbers and the way that they played since the beginning of the month, the Rangers have the best power play, are tied with the best power play with the Lightning at 37.5% since the beginning of January. While the Sharks are 10th best, but again, a lot of that is weighted because of that one game against Dallas. And even the PK is still kind of middle of the pack this entire month here, while the Sharks is one of the bottom feeders. So getting into a special teams battle with the Rangers, I think, is a recipe for failure. So you want to play this as much as you can on 5-on-5 here. So no dumb penalties. I think that's a huge thing, because I do think the Sharks do have the edge at 5-on-5 here with how these two teams are kind of playing this season. So for San Jose, right, it's don't let this Rangers offense get on track, especially on the power play, but it's at 5-on-5. And I think we've seen the Sharks play much better at 5-on-5, even against the Lightning game, right, where that was a lot of turnovers and mistakes that went bad bounces and mistakes that turned into errors and goals for the Lightning. I think for San Jose, it's going to be minimizing those and controlling the pace at 5-on-5 and trying to get that shot volume up and the shot attempts up is going to be huge for them, because I think if they do that, they're going to be well on their way to winning this game, especially for a Rangers team that is teetering here. If you can get up early, like a goal or two, I just don't in the first period. And if it's like 2-0 at the end of the first period, I don't know if I trust this Rangers team to kind of want to get back into this game. So I think for both teams who are going to be well rested, neither has played since Tuesday, I think it's going to be early start for San Jose and try to kind of knock this Rangers team out, because I don't know if they have that in them this year to especially for a lot of players who are probably not going to be with the team here in a couple of weeks. So get up early and try to put this Rangers teams away. I'm also big couple things I'm watching for tonight. Macklin Celebrini, who's been just a little quiet as of late. So I expect a big-time Celebrini game. I'm talking like 3-point Celebrini game, just to kind of remind everybody. He got the day off the other day. I know, it's maybe getting a little bit tired here heading into the Olympic break, and I know he's not going to get much of a break during the Olympics, but I got a gut feeling. It's the one game at home. We know Macklin loves playing at home, and he's had some big-time performances at home. I got a gut feeling that Macklin has a big time night tonight, and really reminds everybody that yes, I'm still here. I'm still Macklin Celebrini. So definitely watching him. I am of course going to be watching Braden Schneider, who we just talked about today on today's episode of Locked On Sharks. As just want to see how he performs with a lot of trade speculation, especially to a team like San Jose. Just going to keep an eye on him tonight and see if what the hubbub is about with him. But I think the Sharks win this game. I think you have to win this game, to be honest. It's your only home game and before the Olympic break. Is the Rangers team that has been playing really bad as of late. And I think this is a Rangers team doesn't have a lot of pushback in them. So I think the Sharks win. I think it's like a 5-2 win where San Jose comes out feeling really good about themselves before going back on the road. Like I said, I think Celebrini has a big time performance tonight. I'm thinking like 3 points, like 2 goals and assist type of performance from Celebrini. So I think he is a big time, and I think we're having a really good time tonight as the Sharks win this game 5-2. So make sure you guys come back tonight after the game. We'll break it down on your next episode of Locked On Sharks, wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and on TikTok at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at My Fry Hole. Until then, bye, friends.